A very warm welcome to you. Many thanks for being with us on the program this week. It's always my pleasure to be here, bringing you all the latest happenings, exclusive interviews with business leaders right here each week. My name is Lucy Lugbe. Welcome to the show. On our lineup this week, first we bring you exclusive interview with Mr. Ganiu Musa, Chairman, Nigerian Insurance Association, NIA, and MD CEO of Cornerstone Insurance PLC, on the CEO Rendezvous, where he gave an overview of the Nigerian insurance industry for the year. According to him, the Nigerian insurance industry database for motor insurance now has 3.4 million vehicles captured through their collaboration with VIS in their efforts to check fake insurances. Take a listen.
The Nigerian insurance database for motor now has about 3.4 million vehicles. We've collaborated with the Lagos Ministry of Transport, the Vehicle Inspection Service, and the automatic number plate recognition system, where officers can determine whether an individual or the vehicle has a valid insurance or not, just by scanning the number plate. The marine insurance platform is integrated with the CBN trade portal, which is now being used by all the banks and the importers. So there are quite a number of areas. Yes, could we do more? Clearly, yes.
On the lineup also, we will bring you highlights from the Insurance Industry Consultative Council IICC Annual Media Retreat for Insurance Journalists at the College of Insurance and Financial Management at Asheshe Village, Ogun State. The retreat was organized under the theme, The Newsman in the Changing World. As expected, the retreat provided a veritable platform for conversations on the place of the media in an age where access to information is very cheap. Speaking to journalists at the retreat, the president of the CIIN, Sir M.O. Oyegunle, said that one of the mandates of the institute is to promote insurance awareness, and insurance journalists are a key component if they must achieve that mandate. Take a listen.
One of the mandates of the Council is to promote insurance awareness, and we urge you all to use your platforms and the reach they cover to provide the gospel of insurance and its offerings.
Plus, of course, all the other extras will bring you on the program. What more can I say than to urge you to sit back, relax, and enjoy this time with us. Details in just a moment. Please stay with us.
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. I mean, the insurance industry is the engine of the economy. It's basically, I would say, the valve that gives people the confidence, that gives people the peace of mind to go and pursue their interests, to go and pursue their passion. So we make the wheels of the economy go round. Clearly, as a key component, of the economy, we look forward to 2022 with cautious optimism. Cautious optimism, why? Of course, we know we're entering an election year. Not just that, we are just recovering from the significant impacts of COVID, which was not just a Nigerian phenomenon, but something that's cut across the whole world. The fact that the advancement in vaccine and now therapeutics, and we see the world economy is now restarting. We're beginning to live, with the COVID in a way that will allow us to go about our normal, businesses. The economy is expected to grow clearly, and the insurance industry is usually a beneficiary, in some instances, a predictor of the direction of the economy. We've seen a lot of spending on infrastructure, and clearly insurance on the corporate side thrives on infrastructure spending. Obviously, when the economy is doing well, people will generate insurable interest, generate insurable assets, generate insurable income, which we feed into the insurance value chain. So we remain very, very optimistic. Obviously, that optimism is tempered by the fact that when you approach an election year, a lot of things happen. Focus tend to change, priorities tend to change. There is heightened uncertainty, in the economy because you're looking at a change in the government. A new president will emerge clearly in 2023. Whether it's the same party or not, we do not know. So that in itself tends to introduce some uncertainty, which could temper down the expectation in terms of the performance. But we remain largely optimistic as an industry. In terms of the direct impact, it's really very, very obvious. If you look at some sectors of the economy, obviously some were affected a lot more than others. Transportation ground to a halt. Aviation insurance ground to a halt. Marine insurance particularly ground, it was almost non-existent. We're now beginning to see the uptick in air passengers, both domestically and internationally. We're beginning to see the resumption of international trade and the resultant, marine insurance. So that is on the business. By far, the biggest impact, really, when all is said and done, is the human impact. A number of people lost their lives. A number of families were thrown into irreparable situations. A number had disabilities as a result of the COVID that are permanent, some are long-term. A number of people lost their jobs. A number of companies that closed down. Those are significant direct impact. Of course, now we thank God that the advancement in vaccine technology is such that we are able to cope better with it, and also the awareness. A lot of credit to our health authorities in the way they have managed the whole situation. Initially, when the whole situation broke, Q1 2020 or all over the world, we feared for the worst. Some had predicted it was going to be bloodbath in Nigeria. But thanks to the dynamism of our health authorities and drawing from the experience of successfully handling the Ebola the problem, they were able to rise up to the occasion. And yes, we have had some very unfortunate loss of lives, but it's not been anywhere near our worst fears. Individually and collectively, there are a number of projects that are currently ongoing, some in different stages of maturity and completion. A number of our members are making investments, either directly in insurtechs or creating partnerships in the areas of fintech and more specifically in insurtech. Even at the level of the association, part of the briefing, given was the deployment of technology, to check the incidence of fake certificates. The Nigerian Insurance database for motor now has about 3.4 million vehicles. We've collaborated with the Lagos Ministry of Transport, the Vehicle Inspection Service, and the automatic number plate recognition system, where officers can determine whether an individual or a vehicle has a valid insurance or not, just by scanning the number plate. The marine insurance platform is integrated with the CBN trade portal, which is now being used by all the banks and the importers. So there are quite a number of areas. Yes, could we do more? Clearly, yes. There's still a lot to be done. But clearly, it's an area that the industry is focusing on, and it's an area that we have identified as the growth opportunity, not just in terms of the interface with the consumers, but in terms of aiding our underwriting. the use of data, the use of analytics, artificial intelligence, robotics, and the rest. There are a number of projects that I'm aware of, not just with us as Cornerstone or as NIA. There were a number of members that are currently in different stages of completion, and I expect that in the next 12 to 18 months, it will be a totally different platform in terms of I would say the technology adoption, technology readiness of the Nigerian insurance industry. The K&R insurance is a very interesting subject. It exists, but it's not something that is talked about because, again, it is sensitive and it has its own nuances. It's not something that you go on to advertise for the simple reason that it carries with it some additional moral hazards or some risks. So beyond that, again, the ability to properly assess and price the risk is a major issue. When something has become a daily occurrence, you see, insurance thrives on uncertainty, which is risk. Okay, when it is almost certain now, you may almost take it outside the realm of insurance, and especially when you look at the infrastructure, the security infrastructure, to try to deal with it. In some instances, it's almost like it has completely overwhelmed the state security apparatus. In that case, it becomes almost impossible to put a proper pricing on it or to do a proper underwriting and price the risk, which is the reason why it will be extremely difficult for the kidnap and ransom to develop under the sort of environment that that we have currently. But in some form, certainly it does exist, but clearly not in the in the way that you probably envisage in your question. It is indeed a major issue, I must admit. And at the NIA, we spent quite a bit of time really discussing issues of that nature because, like you said, it has a direct implication on the image of the whole industry. First, our primary, I would say, obligation is to our constituency, which is the NIA. So we focus first and foremost on that and make sure that if you carry the badge of the NIA as a member of the NIA, you have to settle your claims and settle it promptly. Okay, so one of the things we encourage people is that before you place your policy, you just check to see that the underwriter is a valid member of the NIA, because at least you know that there is institutional framework for the NIA to try to deal with erring underwriters. But in the case of those that are outside the NIA, and I fully agree with you, they still have a bearing on the overall perception of the insurance industry. We're working closely with NICOM to strengthen the current complaint bureau and turn it into a more formal ombudsman sort of arrangement that will have the force of the law. But in the meantime, the insuring public, they are encouraged to use the existing complaints bureau of NICOM. I can assure you that NICOM, they go very tough on underwriters, either they are members of the NIA or not, that default on the payment of their claims. So the first and foremost is, do not be shy. Go to the regulator, go and report. If you have a valid claim, I keep emphasizing valid claim because we do have a decent amount of fraudulent claims circulating in the industry, and those ones tend to be the ones that are most vocal to accuse underwriters of not settling a claim when they have not lived by their own part of the the good faith requirement. But if you have a genuine claim and it is not being paid, you have recourse to the regulator in the first instance. Go and report to NICOM. They will take it up at no cost to you and ensure that the underwriter pays. If they don't pay, or for whatever reason NICOM is unable to resolve it, you can actually take the underwriter to court I mean, we've seen recently when the creditor sued an insurance company, and they secured an order to wind up the company to realize their assets and pay their claims. When you do that, people will realize that really you don't take the promise of an insurance policy lightly. As an underwriter, is a public trust. Okay, when you have a license by the government that says you can issue a promise to people that if they are they have a claim or they meet with an unfortunate incident, that you'll be there to pay for them. So they have to be made to live with those commitments. At our own level at the NIA, we do our bit. Our members required. It's a condition for continuing the membership, where you have a claim. Of course, we have a dispute resolution mechanism within the NIA that's also different than the one with NICOM, which we use to deal with other erring members that are not fulfilling their obligations to third parties. So the general public, they are encouraged to use the facilities within NICOM to get it resolved. And most of the time, really, NICOM takes it very seriously, and they come down very hard on the underwriters that are not settling their claims.
All right, welcome back. Moving on, we now bring you highlights from the annual IICC Media Retreat that was put together for insurance and pension journalists in Ogun State. The IICC is made up of all the critical stakeholders in the insurance industry. Happy viewing.
Insurance Industry Consultative Council, IICC, is made up of the various constituent bodies in the industry, namely NICOM, NIA, NCRIB, and ELAN. The council, late last year, put together a 2-day media retreat for insurance and pension correspondents at the College of Insurance and Financial Management, Asheshe Village, Ogun State. The retreat was organized under the theme, The Newsman in the Changing World. Welcoming participants to the retreat, the President and Chairman of Council of the CIIN, Sir M.O. Oyegule, said that government can do more, especially in the area of health insurance.
Government can make health insurance compulsory, as an example, by subsidizing the premium. This has been done successfully in other countries. It will interest you to know that common malaria kills more people in Nigeria than COVID. For those of us that are familiar with our towns of origin, let me put it this way, because it's not village. I'm not from a village, I'm from a town. And for those of you that are current, go home regularly, you will be amazed at the number of people that come around to beg for money to buy malaria drugs. 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. And ironically, many people simply die like that because they can't afford, they can't cure, they will go and be drinking something that will complicate the problem. No do, from malaria it becomes kidney problem, and that is the end of it. So government can help us seriously. And with the level of poverty in Nigeria, I still think we owe ourselves a duty to keep on hammering on government that people need help.
Delivering the theme paper, The Newsman in the Changing World, the guest speaker, Mr. Lekon Otufoduri, Executive Director, Media Career Development Network, said that the financial journalist in the new age must be an interlocutor in the emerging trends and issues within the industry they cover.
The truth is that we must learn new things. We must be inspired by what we cover. So if you are covering an industry and you are in your own life, it's very, very important. Have the required skill to cope with the change that defines the present day. You must understand that. Practice contemporary journalism. We'll talk about that. Fully understand the beat, which is insurance you are covering. Through the beat audit. I call it beat auditing. One of the things I think you should do is to audit your coverage. Some of us, the beat, we are just covering a part of it. So if you cover airport, for example, aviation, and all you do is to wait at the airport for somebody going. That's not reporting. So if you cover insurance, all the organizations, you must map how much are you reporting, how much do you understand, the dynamics, so that you can get a sense whether you are covering them. So you must audit your bit.
The second substance paper of the retreat focused on changing the face of insurance practice. Speaker was Mr. Kasmir Azubike, MD CEO, Afri Global Insurance Brokers Limited, while the third paper focused on managing anxiety in the world of work. Speaker was Dr. Olufunke Oyeneye, Head of Pharmacy, Obademola Hospital, Ogun State. In his presentation, Mr. Azubike noted that in no distant time, the insurance industry will be flooded with claims arising from building collapse because of the high cost of building materials.
I've been reading, I've been hearing people talk, but I have never had anybody challenge the government on the high cost of building materials, which, except it is seriously challenged, in no distant time, you are going to see more buildings collapsing. That is the truth. And what effect does it have on the insurance industry? We are going to have more claims to settle. Because right now, as I talk to you, we are about the building construction insurance, composite insurance is already running. In other words, every building that is being constructed must have insurance. We are succeeding in pushing away that liability to the insurance industry. While that is happening, nobody is asking how is the effect of this skyrocketing building materials? How is it going to affect those buildings? What does the future portend for the insurance industry that will in no distant time begin to have influx of claims to settle?
As expected, the annual IICC retreat provided a platform for participating journalists to ask questions and get clarifications on industry issues. The Nigerian insurance industry has used the IICC platform to foster and promote collaboration with the media in their continuous drive to increase insurance awareness.
That's our time on the program this week. Many thanks for being with us. Join us again same time next week for a fresh episode. In the meantime, feel free as always to connect with us on all our social media platforms. Don't forget to join us on our flagship Pidgin English program, Waiting Insurance They Do Safe, on Niger FM 102.7 every Wednesday by 9:45 a.m. live, powered by Nikon. My name is Lucy Lube. Until next week, from the entire crew, it's goodbye.